Good morning, everyone. I'm here to speak to you about post-Macondo from the point of view of a service company and the approach that we've taken to how we can strengthen our safety culture, particularly around risk management, around our technologies, around our talent management, around our procedures, and safety programs in general. We are, of course, a global service company, and as such, we work in the Gulf of Mexico. And the initial implementation of many of these initiatives addressed the particular U.S. outer continental shelf requirements with a view to also incorporate the best learnings we could take from elsewhere in the world. And they've been implemented as they need to be in the Gulf of Mexico. And we're in the process of taking many of these things more globally to all the different places around the world where we operate. And I'll speak through 4 different topics that we've addressed as risk management improvement areas over the past couple of years. The first one is what we need to do to our HS&E and security management system. So basically around our safe work practices, if you like. The second topic we'll talk about is our competency management program, which in simple terms is making sure we have the right people with the right skills on the right jobs. The third topic will be around management of change, which there's now a more stringent requirement to have a structured process and an auditable process around that to make sure that whenever we deviate from the plans that we've put in place, or the contingency plans, or the contingency to the contingency, that we step back and reevaluate the risk that we now face with that change. And the last topic I'm going to talk about is around mechanical integrity. And what I'll mainly talk about there is the heightened focus on traceability of safety-critical components to our particular products. So that's what we're going to talk about for the next 20 minutes or so. The first thing I have up here, I'm not expecting you to actually read the details of what's on this policy statement, but I put it up there for a reason. Because it is very important for any of our companies, just as we heard with some of the speakers before, that there is a foundation at the top, that our senior leadership also owns this and signals to the entire organization that HS&E and security forms the basis of our business decisions throughout the organization. So our senior leadership has the responsibility to ensure that everyone in our company works under our core values, works under our code of conduct, and that we are what we call C-squared, or completely compliant, also from an HS&E point of view. And those values or those policies, they're not new. They were there 2 years ago as well. So we need to ask ourselves, what is it that has changed? Or maybe even what is it that's still changing for our industry as such? And to my mind, this illustration speaks to that. Standing here as a service company, we provide various technical solutions to how you drill a well, how you complete a well, how you stimulate a well, how you cement a well, various things. And it's a very technical business. And we're very well trained in addressing technical risk and coming up with technical improvements. But where we find that there is a change in norm, if you like, is that even for a company like ourselves, just as for the operators, just as the regulars, the whole spectrum, we're all needing to not just look at the technology risks, but the geopolitical risks, the regulatory side, the environmental side, reliability, HS&E, and last but not least, also public opinion. News travels fast these days, and that's part of it. So this, to my mind, really it shows part of the change of what we're needing to address. We have, of course, got management systems in place, just like all your companies will have, and the way to look at them is that they facilitate the commitment we need to have to HS&E and security. And they revolve around planning, deploying, reviewing, and improving. And I want to talk a little bit about the improvement side, because there again, from our point of view, improvement has always been a goal, and it's been driven hard on the technology side, that we continuously improve the products and services that we offer. And I think one of the places where there is a bit of more of a shift of focus is that in those improvement initiatives, we also need to think in, more than we probably have, the improvement of our procedures and also the improvement of the skills of our people. We've heard it several times today, people can make poor decisions, and that's where we need to focus on the improvement side as well. It goes without saying that a disaster like the Deepwater Horizon has major legal, business, and client implications for a company like Baker Hughes. And we set about to have, or we put in place a task force on investigating where there were improvement opportunities, where were the gaps, if you like. And that task force, the results of what they came out with has been incorporated into what's called our Baker Hughes operating system. And that's pretty much, in simple terms, just an IT platform that keeps track of our policies, our procedures, our standards of operations. It's a consistent approach across the globe, but with the possibility to incorporate local regulations, special customer considerations, if you like. And that was ongoing at the time back in 2009 and with a major revamp, if you like, consolidation. And the learnings from Macondo have come into that as well. The part I now want to talk about up here, because it has 4 different elements, if you like, HS&E management, and security management system, quality side, product design, and corporate standards. And what I'll talk on now is the blue piece to the puzzle up here, the health, safety, and environment and security management system here. So this task force that was put together, they basically carried out a gap analysis to what we already had in place. They carried out a gap analysis not only to the requirements that came specifically for the U.S. Outer Continental Shelf, but they also set about to look at regulations and standards of operations and from major operators at point of view from a wide range of other offshore areas in the world. So it was not viewed as a US-centric, if you like, gap analysis. It would go and look at offshore in this part of the world, in Southeast Asia, in West of Africa, all those different places. And wherever we saw that the basic principle was if there was a practice or a regulation in more than one place, then that should become part of our global standards. There would be a good reason for having those standards. So there's now a global offshore Baker Hughes operating standard that's come about from that gap analysis. But it really all stems back from looking at where were the gaps, if you like. And that's what's now part of the corporate system. Moving on, I want to talk to you about our competency management program. This comes about from the realization that no amount of technology innovation is going to overcome our people's poor decisions, if you like. Technology just can't fix that. So we've absolutely had training of our personnel in the past, but we're taking it one level higher with this particular program that is implemented at this point in time in parts of the world and is in the process of being implemented in other places. It is a program that's designed, it has 5 overall goals, and I have them up here in that it's to improve the workplace safety, improve the reliability that we have on the workplace. It's to improve regulatory and contractual compliance. And then the 5th one up here is really around our people, enhancing career development, and assessing that they actually have the skills for the jobs that we ask them to do at well site or in the lab, for instance. The program is designed to meet some internal drivers as well as the external drivers of regulations and customer requirements. We've actually built, I think it's in excess of 2,000 qualifications where the skills that people need to have to perform a particular job safely and to the standards that we want to have consistently across the world, they're mapped out. The individual assessment is created by curriculum managers and subject matter experts. And we have to assess each individual before they are qualified to do those tasks where this program has been rolled out. It does have the possibility to have a local adaptation, so you can, if you have special circumstances, special risks in some areas, we can incorporate that into it. The program has been running for quite some time now in the Gulf of Mexico, so that's where we have most experience with it. And it's just recently received the International Association of Drilling Contractors accreditation, specifically for that part of the world. So the last thing I want to talk to you about on that program is, who do we involve? Our company has 57,000 employees worldwide, and we are not doing this for each and every one of those 57 employees, at least not this year. So what we've done is we've gone in and identified who's in the safety critical roles. And we'll all think of the guys that are guys and girls, I should say, who are going into the field. Our field engineers, our operators, our field specialists, they're obviously on this program for the various tasks that or various operations they perform. But we take it also to the people that design the jobs. So it would be a well planner. It would be a person who designs the fluid program, a person who designs the completion. They all perform tasks that can be safety critical, so it extends to them as well. The third group that would be included in this program are all the people that repair and maintain our tools and products. If you assemble something wrong, that can also have very, very bad effects. So we need to have them in the program as well. They do perform a safety critical task. And the last group of people that are addressed with this program at this moment is our HS&E and security, as well as our quality organization. That was the second large topic I was going to talk about. Now we get to the third one. Management of change. That is a formal requirement out of the changes in the U.S. Outer Continental Shelf. And I'm actually going to read to you what it says. There's a lot of words up here. So I'm going to read to you the first two bullet points here, and then we'll talk about what it means. So I need to actually look down and read. So the purpose of this is to identify, assess, manage, communicate, and document change prior to any change being made. And the objective of having such a very stringent process, I'm not going to show you the whole process map, it's very long and very convoluted. The objective is to prevent incidents or losses through the identification and control of new or altered circumstances, including control of health, safety hazards, security issues, and environmental impacts. So what does that actually mean? It means that we plan some more, we plan for contingency, we plan together between a service company and an operator to make sure that the operations will work and they will be conducted in a safe manner. From time to time, we find that our contingency planning didn't think well enough ahead of some of the things that could happen. And whenever there's a change to the design, whenever there's a change to the people skill, whenever there's a change to something that that makes it unknown, we need to step back and assess what's the risk of this change. And that's really what it's there for. An important part of our management of change system is that our team members have the responsibility to use what we call the stop work authority anywhere in this process if we identify a risk of an incident. So I think I already touched on the fact that it is to be used when there's a change, unplanned, to facility, i.e. the rig, for instance, to people. If you will now be using people that have different skills than you set out to, you do need to step back and make sure they have the right skills for that change. For the environment, suppose we'll always plan something at temperature and pressure. If those circumstances change, we need to step back and make sure, is this equipment still fit for purpose in that temperature and pressure regime, for instance, if we didn't already have that in the contingency planning. Processes as well would go under under that heading. Moving on, technology is also an arena where we can think of technology in the context of how can we use that to minimize risk. And the two first ones up here are, they were less common many years ago. They required certain computer developments, but they are becoming more and more common now, that you would be able to have real-time data management remotely from the rig. So you inherently have people in an environment that we would tend to view as safer. The same thing for remote surveillance, that we can remotely survey what's happening and give advice to it and react to it. It imposes different, there are other things you have to then consider when you do that. You have to make sure that we have proper communication through to this so that we still actually see what we need to see. We would have to think about how's the chain of command when you take things away like that. But it inherently moves people away to a safer place to be. On wellbore integrity, various types of technology that works there. What I really want to talk about there is not the technology itself, but the components that go into that equipment, if you like. As a service company, we will have many sub-suppliers. We get our components from a wide range of different other companies. And one of the large focus areas around this is actually limiting the amount of vendors that we get these components from. Because we are, of course, responsible for auditing that their qualifications are as they need to be. And it goes without saying that if you don't have as many different suppliers, you can do a better job at auditing. So that is actually one of the focus areas around wellbore integrity, to get less suppliers supplying pieces to it. And we have one particular instance where there was a particular component that we pretty much couldn't do without it. And it's a pretty small company somewhere else in the world, and they really didn't have a proper quality management system in place. And they were also not of the size where that was an easy task to undertake. And that's actually an example that I was quite intrigued by, because we couldn't source it anywhere else. So we actually worked with them to build their quality management system to the standards that we needed it to be. So those are the kind of things that are happening around strengthening the products, the product integrity, if you like. The last topic I had on my agenda for today that I was going to talk about was around mechanical integrity. And for us, a large part of that revolves around traceability and identification of, again, we're at the component level for the many products that we have. Some products are more safety critical than others. Some products can lead to fluid loss if they fail under pressure. And those are the components that we need to have identified as the safety critical components that we would then take it pretty much, when a component is identified that way, it triggers a different flag, or a different way of handling that particular component. This could be just an O-ring we're talking about, but if it's in that piece of equipment, it is a safety critical item and we need to treat it differently. So it'll have different procedures for how it's loaded out, the training that you need to have involved when you deal with that, and traceability, last but not least. So we've been through, our engineering departments have been through the types of our products that are most safety critical, and actually on a component level identified which components can fail here, and if they do, it's very severe. So they'll be marked up, and they will be traceable, so that if something happens somewhere else in the world, and then you know where these where they are, and eventually what you need to do with them. This is actually my very last slide, and what I was going to recap here is, on the service company side, the 4 areas that we've worked a lot on are around our HS&E management system, taking the requirements from the U.S. Outer Continental Shelf, but also a gap analysis through to what's the case for quite a large number of other offshore provinces in the world. I've talked about our competency management system, and our mechanical integrity and traceability particularly, as well as management of change. And those are things that we can do from the service company side, and that we take responsibility for, because our products need to be fit for purpose. But we cannot, what I have up here is really to say, we can't, we're just one piece of the puzzle, and we need to communicate across the spectrum so that we address what I've put up there first as the petroleum risk spectrum. It's going to take the service companies, the operators, the regulatories, and the general public, not least, to get this to where we need to be. And that was it for me. And I'll remember what I was going to say on traceability tomorrow.